The greatest laboratory you will ever work in is not built of glass and steel. It is within you, inside your body. A living ecosystem determines your strength, your energy, even your emotions. And the foods you eat every single day decide whether that system thrives or collapses. The understanding of gut health, much like the study of disease itself, begins not with fear, but with curiosity. When I first considered the foods that influenced the balance within my own digestive system, I did not view them as miracles, but as instruments of observation. The human gut, in its intricate design, is a living ecosystem. It is where bacteria, enzymes, and nutrients engage in a constant dialogue, determining how efficiently our body transforms food into energy and vitality. To neglect this system is to overlook one of the most remarkable biological partnerships in existence. And when we feed the body poorly, we silence that dialogue. When we nourish it wisely, we restore harmony. Fermented foods were my first revelation. They are ancient in origin, born of nature's process of preservation and renewal. Yogurt, kefir, and sauerkraut contain living organisms, bacteria that work not against us, but for us. I began incorporating them not as a supplement to health, but as a foundation. Within weeks, the difference was tangible. Digestion became smoother, discomfort lessened, and a quiet steadiness replaced the restless imbalance that often follows a modern diet. This was not coincidence. It was biological law in action. When the gut receives beneficial microbes, it responds with gratitude expressed through balance. Then there is fiber, often dismissed as a mundane dietary concern, yet it may be the most democratic nutrient of all. Fiber is the soil in which our internal flora grow. Whole grains, lentils, beans, and vegetables form the landscape of a healthy gut. They provide sustenance for bacteria that, in turn, create compounds the body needs to reduce inflammation and strengthen immunity. The lesson I drew from this was not one of complexity, but of constancy. The foods that improved my gut health were the same foods nature has provided humankind for millennia. It is not novelty we require, but remembrance. Equally important was what I removed. Processed sugars, refined fats, and chemically altered foods represent an experiment gone too far. They disrupt the microbial harmony of the gut, stripping it of diversity and resilience. When I lessened these from my routine, I discovered a subtler truth. The absence of harm is itself a form of healing. The body, left unburdened, finds its way back to equilibrium. Gut health is not an isolated pursuit. It is a mirror reflecting the way we relate to life itself. The gut teaches patience. Change comes gradually through steady nourishment and consistent choices. It teaches humility, that the most profound systems in our body operate beyond our conscious control, yet respond intimately to how we live. It teaches responsibility, that the power to maintain health is, and has always been, in our own hands. What improved my gut health was not a single food or secret technique, but an approach, scientific in its discipline, human in its purpose. Feed your gut wisely, and you do not merely improve digestion, you strengthen the very foundation of your being. There is an elegance in the human body that we too often forget, a quiet intelligence that governs every process, from the beating of our heart to the digestion of a single bite of food. The gut, often dismissed as merely a mechanical organ, is in truth a vital center of communication. It speaks to our brain, influences our immunity, and reflects the total state of our well-being. When I began to study how certain foods altered my gut health, I approached it as I would any scientific investigation, with patience, observation, and respect for the living systems involved. What I found was simple yet profound, that the foods we choose every day can either sustain this harmony or erode it. The first realization was that the gut thrives on diversity, not of artificial flavors, but of natural, living foods. I began incorporating fermented foods into my routine: yogurt, kimchi, kefir, and miso. These foods are living laboratories filled with beneficial bacteria that rebuild the internal ecosystem. Each serving became an experiment in renewal. Over time, I noticed subtle but powerful changes. Digestion felt effortless, energy was steadier, and even my mental focus sharpened. Science tells us that the gut and brain share a biochemical dialogue. When we nurture one, the other responds. The foods that improved my gut health did not only heal the body, they sharpened the mind. Equally vital were fiber-rich foods. I saw that a diet centered on whole grains, legumes, fruits, and vegetables created not only fullness, but fertility, a fertile environment for beneficial microbes to flourish. The gut, like any ecosystem, needs balance between nourishment and waste. Fiber provides the structure for that balance. When I began increasing these foods, the transformation was not dramatic but dependable, steady as the rhythm of nature itself. This, I realized, is how true healing occurs, not in a burst, but in a sequence of consistent, deliberate actions. There was another lesson, one born from removal rather than addition. The modern diet is abundant in excess, but deficient in integrity. Processed foods, refined sugars, and artificial additives interfere with the natural processes that sustain gut health. I eliminated them not through discipline alone, but through understanding. Once I grasped their effect, inflammation, imbalance, fatigue, their appeal diminished. The gut is a truth teller. It reveals, without sentiment, the results of our choices. When we burden it, we suffer. When we lighten its load, we thrive. To speak of gut health is to speak of self-respect. It is to acknowledge that the body, given proper conditions, possesses a remarkable capacity for self-correction. I did not seek perfection, only balance. And in that balance, I found strength, physical, mental, and emotional. The foods that improved my gut health did more than restore digestion. They reminded me that the solutions to our most complex biological challenges often lie in the simplest natural truths. To live wisely is to eat with awareness. In the end, our gut does not merely digest food. It translates our choices into life itself. When I reflect on the foods that improved my gut health, I am reminded that progress in science and progress in living are not so different. Both begin with observation, guided by humility before the natural order. The human gut is a landscape of extraordinary complexity. Trillions of microorganisms performing unseen work with profound consequences. Yet, this complexity thrives on simplicity: the food we eat, the patterns we choose, the respect we grant to our bodies. I came to understand that gut health is not a pursuit of perfection, but of partnership. We must learn to live in cooperation with the biology within us. In that pursuit, I found that the most effective interventions were also the most elemental. Fermented foods became my allies. Yogurt, kefir, kimchi, and other living foods. They introduced beneficial bacteria, not as guests, but as collaborators in the process of digestion and defense. Over time, I noticed how these foods restored a kind of inner calm. The discomfort that once followed meals diminished. There was balance where before there was unrest. It was as though the gut, once agitated, found its rhythm again. This was not a miracle, but evidence. Clear, reproducible, biological. Then came fiber, an uncelebrated hero. We often look for solutions in complexity, yet the gut thrives on simplicity. Whole grains, fruits, vegetables, and legumes. These are not luxuries, they are necessities for microbial life. They nourish the bacteria that nourish us. When I made this shift from processed convenience to natural abundance, the change was gradual but certain. The gut began to function with quiet efficiency. Energy returned. Sleep deepened. Mental clarity sharpened. This interdependence between the gut and the rest of the body revealed itself unmistakably. I also learned that healing is not merely about what we add, but what we remove. Processed sugars, refined oils, and artificial additives disrupt the delicate ecosystem that sustains our health. They inflame, irritate, and weaken. By letting them go, I was not depriving myself. I was allowing my body to return to its intended state. The gut, like the mind, thrives in a calm environment. When we reduce chaos, we make room for balance. But the greatest lesson was philosophical. To care for the gut is to acknowledge the quiet wisdom of nature. It does not rush, yet it never fails to respond. Each decision we make, each meal, each habit, sends a signal to the body, to heal or to harm. I found that the foods which improved my gut health were not discoveries of modern science, but reminders of ancient truth. Simplicity, patience, and respect for life's natural processes yield the most lasting results. Our health, like our progress as a species, depends on cooperation between ourselves and the systems that sustain us. When we eat with awareness, we participate in that cooperation. The gut then ceases to be a problem to solve and becomes what it was always meant to be: the foundation of vitality, the silent partner in the preservation of life. If you wish to build a stronger future, start not with invention, but with nourishment. The same intelligence that cured disease can also guide your daily choices. Feed your body with wisdom, and it will return the favor through balance, vitality, and life itself.